That night, my whole world flipped in just one phone call. I said, "Don't call me, I'm not your property." He paused for a second and then replied coldly, "Great, then don't come home." His voice didn't shake. It wasn't angry, it was final. And that's when I realized I had pushed the only man who truly loved me too far. It all started months before that call, with small things that slowly turned into storms. My husband Daniel was calm, hardworking, and loyal to the bone. But somewhere along the way, I started seeing his care as control. He'd text me to check if I got home safe. I called it hovering. He'd ask who I was going out with. I called it invasion. The truth is, I wanted freedom. But I confused freedom with distance. I began staying out late with coworkers. It started innocently. Office dinners, team outings, harmless laughter. But each time Daniel called to ask, "When will you be home?" I'd snap. "Why do you always have to ask? You think you own me?" He'd just go quiet and say, "Just want to know you're safe." That night, the night everything fell apart, I was at a small party after work. Music, drinks, and laughter filled the air. My phone kept buzzing. Daniel's name flashed again and again. I felt eyes on me from my friends. Judgment, teasing. "Wow, your husband's really keeping tabs, huh?" Something inside me snapped. I picked up the phone, walked outside, and said the words I'll regret forever. "Don't call me, Daniel. I'm not your property." There was silence. Then his voice came through, low and steady. "Great, then don't come home." And he hung up. At first I laughed, pretending I didn't care. My pride wouldn't let me call him back. I told myself he'd calm down, that he'd always forgive me like he used to. But when I got home around midnight, the house was dark. Too dark. My key didn't work. He had changed the locks. There was a note taped to the door. Open quote, "You wanted your space. Here it is. Take care." Close quote. I stood there frozen, holding my purse, realizing this wasn't a fight anymore. It was over. For the next few days, I tried calling him, texting him, even showing up at his office. He never answered. His silence hurt more than any argument we'd ever had. My family told me to give him time, but deep down, I knew I had broken something that couldn't be fixed with time. Respect. A week later, a friend told me he'd moved into a small apartment across town. Alone. No anger posts online, no gossip, no revenge moves, just complete silence. That's when it hit me. I had pushed away the one person who gave me peace. I tried sending letters, real ones, not texts, pouring my heart out, apologizing for the things I said, for how I made him feel small just to feel powerful. I told him I never meant it, that I just wanted to feel like I had control over something. But the letters came back unopened. Months passed. People stopped asking about us. I started realizing how quiet life was without him. Not the peaceful kind of quiet, but the lonely kind. I'd wake up expecting to see his coffee mug on the counter, his shoes by the door, but everything that once felt normal now felt empty. One day, I saw him again, at the grocery store. He looked different, calm, lighter. There was no ring on his hand anymore. He saw me, nodded politely, and walked past like I was just another person from his past. That single nod broke me. I stood there, frozen, as he left with his groceries, and another woman waiting by his car. She smiled at him, and he smiled back. It wasn't forced. It wasn't awkward. It was real. That night, I sat in the dark, reading our old texts. The ones where he'd tell me to drive safe, where he'd remind me to eat, where he'd call just to say he missed me. Every message that once annoyed me now felt like gold I'd thrown away. I finally understood he never tried to own me. He tried to love me, and I mistook love for control because I was too proud to see the difference. A few months later, I got a letter in the mail. It was from Daniel. My hands shook as I opened it. It wasn't long, just a few lines. Open quote, "I hope you're doing well. I've moved on and I wish you peace. I wasn't trying to keep you. I was trying to keep us." Close quote. I cried for hours. Not because he was gone, but because I finally understood what I'd lost. If I could go back, I wouldn't say those words. I'd answer his call, hold his hand, and say, "Thank you for loving me, even when I didn't deserve it." But life doesn't give second chances so easily. So here I am, telling this story not for pity, but as a warning. Don't mistake love for ownership. Don't let your ego speak louder than your heart, because one word, one sentence, one careless call can turn forever into never again. If you liked the video, please subscribe and turn on notifications.